Hey guys, welcome to IQ Chess. Hope you're having a fantastic day and thank you so much for joining me in this video. If you've been wondering where I've been for the past week or so, I haven't uploaded a video since January 1st and it's 10th today. It's because I was pretty sick. I couldn't really record a video without coughing in between, so I thought let's just take a rest. And now I'm back to the grind and we are going to be beginning our discussions on the Italian game. So, the first video is going to be about the fried liver attack. So let's begin. E4, E5, knight to F3, knight to C6, bishop to C4, and this is the Italian game. Here, the two most common responses are going to be knight to C5 and also knight to F6. This is going to be about knight to F6, and here we play the move of knight to G5. This is officially known as the fried liver attack. It's a pretty aggressive system, as you can see. We've moved the knight twice in the opening, which generally is not considered a good choice. But this is a very trappy and, frankly speaking, one of the most aggressive things in chess. Now, I don't want to advertise this opening as a win games quick scheme. This is not my objective. I will be treating this opening just like my other opening tutorials. So we'll be going pretty in depth, not like too deep or not too little, but yeah. First up, though, we will start with the most fun thing, which is the trap of the opening. Here, d5 is the only choice. Basically, if black does not want to end up with a piece here, if black doesn't want us to take anything, this is the only choice. There is another main line which goes bishop to c5, which is called as the Traxler, but this is generally what you'll face the most. Here, we just pick the pawn, and if black takes our pawn with the knight, and this move looks supernatural because, I mean, if you see from black's perspective, this pawn is stupid because you have two attackers and I have one defenders. So this makes sense. Well, it definitely did make sense because more than 1.7 million people have played this move in the position and it is losing. After we play the move of knight takes on f7, it is a 70% staggering win rate for the white. Here's why. After king takes, we play queen to f3 check. King can't go back to g8 because that's just literally mate. You just won a game in 8 moves. That's just mate. Bye bye. If the king goes back anywhere to e8 or e7, well then free knight, thank you. So the only choice is basically to come here. Now we'll play the move of knight to c3. The play here is pretty natural, just simply developing and putting more pressure basically. And this knight is now attacked a lot of times. So the most common move that you'll face here is something like knight to b4, counter-attacking us on c2 and also defending the knight. Well, simple move, bishop to b3. Just come back, defend the pawn, and then just look at the position. Black's pieces don't make sense. These knights are stuck defending each other. The king is on e6, so it makes sense. Obviously, it's stupid. And this pawn on e5 is extremely weak. This is what we call as an isolated pawn because there are no neighbors. And we cover the square in front of it extremely well. So there is no play for black here. Here, something like c6 is seen because just black wants to defend themselves. And we can kick the knight out with a3. And if the knight goes back to a6, let's say, this is horrendous play by black. I don't know what these pieces are doing basically. Simply castle. I'm sorry. Simply castle, that's all we care about. Put a rook on e1, putting more pressure here. You can play d4, ripping apart black's defenses. Take at any point if you want. This bishop can leap out and take advantage of the king. And it's pretty hard to play this position. If black knows what they are doing, they'll generally come up with a queen trade offer. Don't accept it, just keep playing, just take the pieces and then go like this if ever queen comes to f6. So that would be it for the trap or the most beneficial variation for us objectively. Let's come back. Here, the main line though is knight to a5. And if your opponent knows what they are doing, this is all they'll play. Now, the move here for us would be bishop to b5 check. Reason, after c6, we take the pawn and b takes. Here we play the move of queen to f3. Pretty hard to remember, I know, but this is a really important move. The point is you are maintaining a pin on the pawn to the rook. So the pawn can't take us. If the pawn takes, for instance, we win the rook. So, what's the plan here? At this point, black has a wide range of moves. Black can play bishop to e7 trying to castle, bishop to b7, queen to c7, rook to b8. All of these are good moves, just been played before even by grandmasters. So just a quick example for you guys. Let's say if black plays something like bishop to e7, for example, trying to castle. Well, is there a threat on the rook, on the bishop? I'm sorry. No, we still have the pin. So we can just make back and just castle right away. At any point, if black plays something like this, put pressure on our bishop. The bishop on the fried liver main line belongs on d3. Make this very clear. This move looks extremely odd and unnatural, I know, but that is the best move. This bishop, think about this. This bishop can't go here. Taking the pawn is just stupidity. Giving up and going like this. You win a pawn, but definitely not a good thing. Black is gonna just block you and they're gonna castle. It's gonna be pretty equal for them. So coming back here, make some sense, but not really. And e2, the bishop is very passive. So d3 is a sweet spot. Yes, you block your bishop, the dark side bishop on c1. However, what is this? Black can't really castle on the queen side. Black is gonna castle on the king side now. And this bishop on d3 puts excellent pressure on the hexagon square. And in the future, you can even play moves like c4, b2, sorry, b3, switch it to the bishop on b2 and get the bishop back here to maybe move your d pawn later on. It's all a choice for you. Or simply play b3 from b2 and fight on the long diagonals if you want to. This queen is also very well placed for the kingside castle. You can bring the rook to the e file. This bishop goes here, knight comes out, rook comes to d file and e file, and then you can play in the mid. So that would be how you play this variation. But there's also more. After this position, black also has one more move, which is a kind of a sideline, not really played as much, but it's a trick that black can try. It's called as the Fritz variation, which goes like this: knight to d4. The simplest and the best way in general to respond to this is to play c3 and just wait. Because to be honest, this knight just wandered into the d4 square without having any objective. The whole argument that black makes by playing this move is, well, your pawn is just blocking your bishop. You can't really take my pawn right now. But I don't really care. The knight has to move somewhere, preferably to something like this. Or even black can try h6, counter-attacking us. If h6, just simply take, give this pawn and then take the pawn here. It's just a massive exchange line. But knight to f5, you can just play d3 or d4 even. You opened up your bishop. The bishop is very well placed. You can develop your knight to a3 or to d2 if you want. As on the king side, this is just not a good thing for black objectively. So that would be how you play against the Fritz variation. But let's get back to this position now. After d4, you have either pawn takes with knight takes or pawn takes with knight to a5 or knight to d4. But black also has this, which is the Traxler, as I showed you earlier. And this opening, my friends, is pretty dangerous for both players. If white, especially white, if white doesn't know what they're doing, which a lot of players don't, they die. So, listen properly. The Traxler is extremely deadly if you don't know what you're doing. The whole point is, black is anticipating us to take the pawn here. And black is gonna sacrifice the bishop. Like this. This looks good for us. We just hook them. Well, okay. We have this. Now, if you want to play the variation, you need to play the move of king to f1 right here. Do not accept the bishop. Don't take the bishop. And after king to e7, just take this and then play on here. Just try to play on here. There are still so many traps where black can sacrifice a pawn to come and trap your queen. Yeah, because your queen literally can't move anywhere else. So if d4 happens, don't take that. Queen is trapped. Bye bye, you lose. So this is not good. Another choice could be to take this and go to g1 next, like this. But then you have things like queen to h4. You have to learn the whole line right now. And it's generally, you could play it and equalize. It's definitely not like completely winning for black. It's equalizable. But don't get into this theoretical battle, and rather, I recommend the move in this position after bishop to c4. I'm sorry. Oh, what happened? Yeah, after bishop to c4, that you play the move of bishop takes on f7. That's the trick here. But the problem here is black has to move and just come right back to b3. There is no sacrifice. There's absolutely no sacrifice because, well, what's the point? The pawn is defended by our knight. So there is no bishop takes on f2. Just castle next, play d3, bring the knight back if you want to, knight to c3, and just simple game. I'm sorry. And black can't castle. That's just the way it is. And it's good for us. So this is how you deal with the Traxler. As scary as it looks, if you play bishop takes on f7, it is actually beneficial for you. And finally, after knight to g5, a few more just rarely played lines. One of them is this nonsense, which is called as the Ponziani Steinitz Gambit. I even showcased this in a trap video because it is such a trap, frankly. The whole is like basically black is expecting us to just take the pawn to the knight, forcing them, and then they have a lot of tricks up their sleeve. What should you do? Don't take the pawn with the knight again with the bishop and come right back. And this is just stupid for them. Sorry, I'm sorry. After this, you just play the move of d4. I'm sorry, I'm very sorry. Because you're just defending everything, and if they take like this, you win their queen. So they can't take. So they have to just go back to f3 or do something else and just go chop chop. Black is just pretty much dead here. It's nothing for them. So the Ponziani Steinitz or Steinitz Ponziani, as we like to call it, is just not a great option for them. To be honest, that would be the core stuff. One more little thing I would like to show is that here black would also play this pretty stupid looking move h6 if especially beginners when they are being fried with the fried liver, they play this move. The simplest way to play is like to play d4 immediately and just exploit this weakness because black obviously wasted some time on the opening, which is precious for them. Now that concludes the whole variation, my friends, because there's nothing much to discuss here. So I'll see you guys in the video on the events gambit, which happens after bishop to c5 here, and we play the move of b4. I'll be covering a video. I'll be making a video covering this opening because the fried liver combined with the events gambit gives one of the most aggressive repertoires in all of chess with the white pieces. So till then, stay tuned. And if you've enjoyed the video, consider sharing the video with your friends. Subscribe to IQ Chess. We recently hit 2,000 subscribers. It means a lot to me. I've only been making videos for 2 years at this point, and it's huge. Thank you guys so much, and I'll see you guys soon. Till then, bye.